Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the one. No, oh my god,
Oh,
2 weeks in a row. It's not that hard, Zach.
you're losing it.
To the 205th edition of Cinema Effect. It's just such an odd number. I don't know. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by PWSA's number one fanboy, Jayden.
Howdy.
Howdy, and of course, PTA's number one fanboy, aka John Cena, aka Fitzy, aka Liam.
Good morning.
Is it like your challenge every week to like draw out your response as long as possible?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep drawing it back. You know, the inflation on the first response. Yeah.
You just did it again. Yeah. Great. Good job. Oh, wow. Okay. Maybe we'll see if you keep it up when I ask you what you think about this movie. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Moneyball, which opened in the US on September 23rd, 2011. It was directed by Bennett Miller. It is a sports drama. And the synopsis says, Oakland A's general manager Billy Beane's successful attempt to assemble a baseball team on a lean budget by employing computer-generated analysis to acquire new players. Now, that synopsis is terrible because it just spoiled the movie. Well, sort of spoiled it.
I mean, like that's like what else would you think the movie's about? Like,
but no, it said Billy Beane's successful attempt to assemble. It's like, well, can it just be his attempt? But I guess it was successful. Definitely was successful. But there are things to discuss there, I suppose. Okay. Jayden, Moneyball, first time viewer. You're the one. Fitzy and I have seen it before. You're new to this film. What did you think of it? And what did you think of Billy Beane's name?
Oh, dude, when they were calling him Mr. Bean, like piss take. Like, come on, like, how do you take a man like that seriously? You know, it's
it is spelled differently.
Yeah, with an E, but,
to his credit.
Yeah, but then there's like the other Bean, you know. Old mate.
Not Sean. Oh, Sean's
Sean. Oh, is that spelled normal?
I think he's just a B-E-A-N, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's another Bean. I don't know. Sorry, Mike. Forget about it. Forget about it, sorry.
No, I really liked it. You know, I think the best sports stories are underdog stories. You know, that's why they all are underdog stories. You know, like you can't tell if I can't tell a story about a wing streak. You know, so like it's a pretty standard formula in terms of like, you know, the story, but then like I don't know, the events of the story, revolutionizing a sport is always interesting. And you know, getting into sport that I know nothing about, quite good as well. You know.
Yeah, cool. I think this movie's great. I think it's just really effective at telling the story it wants to tell. It's a great screenplay, and then the rest sort of just, it's pretty much just all there on screen. And it doesn't really, I don't know, it's funny for this, but it doesn't really require much in-depth analysis, which is a compliment to it, because I just feel like everything the movie tries to convey is just there. And if you just watch the movie, like, you pretty much get it entirely. So, but it's a really satisfying watch. It's a really some really entertaining scenes. Just a really high quality film overall, and does a great job of getting me invested in the entire philosophy of Moneyball and wanting it to succeed. You know, not just for revolutionizing the sport, like you said, but for the characters and just in basically on all levels. It just had me invested. So, and there's tons of just businessy trading player scenes that are just right up my alley as well, that I'm very entertained by. But yes, Fitzy, what do you think of the watch?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same as you guys. I find it a very satisfying movie. I think Brad Pitt's pretty awesome in it.
He is.
Like somehow in this like sports movie, his character has like more depth than most. It seems like in most of his other roles. He just seems like a fully fleshed out character, and he has like both the kind of, I don't know, the intimate stuff, the kind of private life stuff, and he really succeeds in his like persona and the kind of the public setting as well. So yeah, it's a good film. It's a good film and a great screenplay, as you said.
Yes,
Oh
indeed.
yeah,
Yes,
I
indeed.
had no idea Sorkin wrote this film at all until fucking.
And
You're making
Zalian.
me you're making me frantically scroll for trivia. So Aaron Sorkin agreed to rewrite this screenplay, but he stated as a condition that Steven Zalian, whose name they were co-credited,
Mm.
that his name would not be removed from the credits because his draft was great and Sorkin didn't really think he could improve it that much. So
Oh.
this movie went through some sort of development process. I don't know want to say it was like hell or anything, but because Soderbergh was meant to direct and Zalian wrote this first screenplay. So something happened where, there was sort of a changing of the guard of who was working on it. So at some
Yeah.
point, like the studio, whoever asked Sorkin, oh yeah, we're changing directors, can you have a look at the screenplay for us? And he was like, yeah, sure, but it's already great. So, but
Mm.
he did technically rewrite it. So yeah, but yeah, you didn't know that going in.
No, yeah. And then I was having a look at like the other writing credit, or the original writer, and then like seeing here like he did like Blind Spot and fucking Blindside, sorry, rather, and The Big Short, and I was like, shit, this guy's pretty talented,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Well, it
And
makes sense.
then
He did the Big Short's another Michael Lewis book. So
yeah, yeah.
those films
And
have
then The Blindside
DNA.
must be
Yeah,
as well, or whatever. Yeah,
is it? I don't know.
I don't know if it's a book, but he says that he was the original writer on them. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Mm.
Um.
Mm.
So yeah, no, that's cool. Hey, sorry, I just thought of this. How did we feel about this? Is the most random place. I apologize, but how did we feel about like young Brad Pitt's casting? Because when us just talking about Brad Pitt made me think of it.
I thought he looked like your brother, like a little bit,
Like who?
like your brother. I thought he looked
Oh,
like
my brother.
yeah.
Oh, really?
He looked like someone from your family. He looked like he had a bit of your
Okay.
dad or your brother's face.
Oh, well, he was a handsome dude, so I'll take that as a compliment for sure. He didn't look like me though.
No.
Oh,
I can't say it
oh.
yet.
He looked familiar to me, but I don't know.
It's your uncle or some shit.
I didn't think it was like Pitt until like I don't know, maybe like the second or third time I got to it. I was like, I started feeling it, and I was like, oh okay,
Yeah,
I get this. And I was thinking back to
yeah,
his young days, I was like, the Mexican and somewhere in the ways. I was like, oh yeah, I can see this.
yeah. Exactly. The Mexican. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Oddly, I don't know. Like, I wasn't like taken out by it or anything, but it wasn't until that second time when he's actually there in the stadium. Might have even been the third time actually, because I think he was a high schooler first, and then he was training. So it might have been the third time. And there's this one shot at the third time when he's like sitting on the bench, where I could just really, I can see Pitt there in that one. But like, yeah, it's funny. Sometimes it just takes a certain angle or something just to like really like get the casting choice. I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. I see that. Anyway, that was a totally random spot. I apologize. I was also, like you, Jaden, learning a lot about baseball watching this movie, which was cool. I mean, I've seen this movie before, but like, so I clearly don't remember anything I learned. But anyway, I was relearning stuff about baseball. So baseball isn't one of these like Yankee sports that you hate?
No, baseball's like the best of the Yankee sports. It
I'm
goes
actually kind of surprised by this.
MLB, NHL, reluctantly NFL, and then NBA. But there's like 50 miles of crap between NHL and NFL.
Okay. Oh, so you don't mind NHL either?
No, yeah, I don't mind. No, I don't mind hockey.
Okay. So it's really the football and the basketball.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Just
Okay.
dog shit boring sports fan.
But okay, but okay. You think basketball's more boring than baseball?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Basketball is 10 people fucking striding up and down a court every couple seconds, and they cover the court in 5 seconds, and it's just constant fucking play.
Yeah, no,
play,
that is
play,
true.
play, play.
That is true.
It's just there is no like true flow to the game because it is just a back and forth. Like it just I don't know, just sucks.
That is the flow, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's fair enough. I was kind of in obviously learning about the core motivation for the team and everything and what they end up achieving in the film. It was like picking up a few different aspects of what makes a regular baseball season what it comprises of, I guess, was interesting to me in terms of, first of all, are they was this team playing like 200 games a season or something? Like, what the
I
hell is
was
that?
I was having a look at the fucking structure of the season.
Yeah.
162 games. They play 162 fucking games. They're playing 5 days a week minimum from season start to season end.
So yeah, so when what's the break between the season start then and end?
So season starts in April, ends in October, and then
Wait, what the hell?
Yeah,
That's actually a decent break for the amount of games they play. You know what I mean? Like, you'd think they'd have to go longer.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what's crazy. So like then October to April is technically their downtime, but then they have this thing called spring training, where that starts in February, and that's when like people are playing pretty much like a consistent season anyway, but just like in like a training status. So from February to October, they're like every team is pretty much playing 5 days a week minimum, and then there's postseason stuff like I don't know, the fucking playoff series. I think
Right.
162 games a season is nuts,
and these are long games too. I mean, I know I'm not saying that in terms of like physically demanding on the athletes necessarily.
No, they're not, and that's why they can play 162 games, because it isn't the most physically demanding sport. You know, you can't do something like that with footy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean it more from like an audience perspective. Like if you're a baseball fan.
Yeah, but that's also why, like, I was looking on the I was reading the Wikipedia. It's like MLB is consistently the most like the sport that has like the most fans over the course of a year. I'm like, of course it is. If fucking if 20 teams are playing 162 games each, of course you're gonna have like an average that's way higher than any other sport, because you're playing 4 times more than any other sport.
It's totally insane.
But yeah, that is nutty numbers. Yeah,
absolutely. I don't know how that came about, and the amount of traveling for them must be insane. They sort of show that, like, they obviously convey the traveling in the movie, but it's like it's never really like, I guess it's just assumed knowledge. Like, to me as an outsider, it's never like hammered home of like, these dudes must be on a plane all the time. You know.
Well, so they've restructured the way they play the seasons a few times since then, where like,
oh really?
But I think the general idea from in 2001 was that, because you know how American sports, they break it up into conferences because they're weirdos.
No.
Oh well, and like in baseball, they have a Eastern, Western, and Central conference, and then within each conference, there's also the A League or they have the AL or the NL, which is like the National League or the American League. So Boston, oh no, sorry, not Boston. Fuck, sorry, get my head out of the gutter. Oakland plays in the AL in the Western Conference. So
does that mean they only play teams in a certain?
Yeah, so that's why they were one of 4 teams on that. Whenever it would show a ladder, there was only 4 teams or 5 teams or whatever. So like they're only playing, not only, but they're playing those teams the most, and then there's like 1 or 2 exhibitions with like other leagues or with like the other conferences. But like you're playing like, I think the number was like you play the teams in your conference and league 40 times or something like that.
Oh my 30 God.
times. Because you play you play in series where like that's why that's why they call everything a series, because when you go to a team or a team comes to you play 3 or 4 games in the series, just consistently in a row before taking on the next team. It's such a fucking weird format.
That's so weird. I mean, it's probably just normal for them, but it's like, meanwhile over here we're like, oh yeah, Geelong already played Collingwood early in the year. That's interesting. Yeah. Oh yeah, they're doing it again.
But then, like, on the Wikipedia, I think they were saying that they're looking at doing a more standard, like, each team plays every team, like, in the entire league. So it's just going to be one person one team plays all of the 19.
I mean, that sounds more interesting. But it's like, I assume they'd have to play less games, right? To be able to travel around and.
Well, I don't know. What's 4 times 20? 80. And then you're probably playing like. Yeah, it probably would be less, but they'll probably find a way to supplement some of it. Yeah.
Yeah. If they're doing all those games in a row still, then yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's totally insane. I mean, the other aspect to that as well was like the winning streak element and the record of setting the 20 wins in a row. Like, I understood the significance of it, but I was more just kind of surprised of like, why in this sport is it so hard to win 20 games in a row? You know what I mean? Like, what about the function of the sport makes that difficult? Because obviously, I mean, it sounds impressive no matter what sport. But I don't know, like an AFL team winning 20 games in a row would be like, it'd be noteworthy. Don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't be like the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. It'd be like,
Well,
oh yeah, they're playing really well. You know.
I mean, we've not consistently, but there's been many teams in the AFL that have gone. I mean, many. It's happened a few times where the 20-win streak has come up.
Yeah.
Whereas
Definitely.
in baseball, it just hasn't.
Yeah.
That's what makes it impressive, I guess. It's just
yeah, but I'm just no, 100%. I guess I'm just like, why doesn't it happen in baseball? Like, what about there must be something about the sport itself that sort of makes it, so such a miracle or whatever, so challenging. I don't know what it is, but I thought that was interesting for sure. But then of course,
apparently there was there's a whole period of the sport in the 80s defined as the steroid saga. So perhaps ever since everyone was on steroids, it made results too unpredictable.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Didn't that happen to every sport though?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
For Essendon, it happened very recently.
Yeah. Yeah. Came a bit late. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why we're comparing this to AFL, by the way. Like, wouldn't cricket be the better comparison?
Yeah. Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'd still say cricket's more physically demanding than baseball, which to the chagrin of many Americans.
Oh yeah, what's your argument for that?
Well, it's just that, in baseball you hit it and then you only have to run the diamond once and then you get to sit down. Whereas as a batter in cricket, you can be out there for 6 hours a day. If more, if you're playing a test, you can be out there for 12 hours and still not be out, and you're constantly running back and forth in the sun. And also, like, fielders have like a far bigger area to cover, and they're catching without a glove, and they're bowling just as fast, and they're doing it in a shit movement that ruins their shoulders. Cricket's a more physically demanding sport.
I agree, actually. Now I hadn't really thought of it. I was in my head though. I'm kind of like, oh yeah, aren't they kind of similar? But yeah, no. When you put it out like that, I agree. Get stuffed Yankees. Yeah. Yeah, cool. So then, I mean, obviously, the main other element to all this, and what the movie's really about, is this revolution brewing in the sport of the whole philosophy and the methodology of putting together a team and what bloody Billy Beane and Jonah Hill do, Pete Brand, what they do, and that's obviously the most interesting part of the movie. And I had to Google afterwards because I was thinking, okay, this is obviously a very interesting subject. I understand it's all based on real stuff and based on a real book and all stuff. But I was more curious. Okay, but did this really change baseball? You know what I mean? Like in real life, or was it something that was like, oh yeah, it came up, but then everyone sort of kept doing what they were doing anyway for X, Y, Z. But my research that I conducted for 5 minutes showed me that this actually did legitimately change baseball forever, basically. So knowing that as well,
statistics these days, like baseball was on TV earlier. My dad was watching it, and they even have like a number every time like the ball is hit. Like it's straight up it's like a 9 number or something, and they have the fucking square and they have all these metrics on the screen.
Right.
It's like
But it sounds like they wouldn't have given a single shit about that before, by the sounds of it. Based on the way everyone else seems to look down on stats in this movie for a lot of it, So yeah, no, that's very interesting, and I was very glad to learn that because it was like, oh yeah, now I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I watch these movies and it's just like, yeah, but it didn't really matter that much in real life. It was kind of more of a story thing.
Well, the end caption tells you that the Red Sox won, 2 years later using that method. I mean, that tells you it's successful.
No, yeah, definitely. But then but you know what I mean? Like I sort of thought, but then like 10 years later, did everyone sort of just revert back or something?
Well, that's the thing, because you look at this new kid on the block, Shohei Ohtani. He's playing for the Dodgers. He just got like a fucking $70 million contract or something like that. So like if they're still spending like the big bucks, like how effective is it when you could be paying $250,000 like they're showing in the film, but you're still offering out $70 million contracts,
Well, I guess if this would require obviously a much stronger baseball expert, but if Moneyball comes, what has really changed the sport, then you'd imagine the whole economy has shifted with it.
True.
in terms of now 20 years later, where like that dude who I've never heard of in my life, I assume he's like the top player in the world or something right now. Is that right? Or like one.
Oh, he's got the highest contract in baseball history, I think.
Right. Okay. You'd imagine that would be built on like Moneyball stats.
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
True. I guess true.
Like it just like they got everyone so cheap in this movie because of how everyone else undervalued them.
But now people are valuing
because everything was so off scale, and now it's like it's just tipped the other way to where you would be paying the actual like top players based on Billy's logic in the film. You would be paying them the big bucks these days, kind of thing. I suppose.
But I think like if you look at like the league history, like I went quite in depth on the Wikipedia a little bit. But then like you look at the main rival. I mean, if you couldn't call a main rival, was the Yankees, because you just couldn't come up against the Yankees because they were just too strong with all their money. They haven't won a league since 2009. So like I guess that shows like the effect. Like every other team figured out, we can do something different to them. And like, I think the Yankees still spend the most. They still make the most because of their brand internationally. But
right, yeah,
yeah, I guess that does show like the lasting effects of Moneyball, because like they haven't won in 15 years now.
Yeah, exactly.
Neither has Oakland.
Well, yeah, well that's so. Did you see like in terms of like who the spread of winners have been since?
Oakland's, it's a very healthy spread, to be honest.
Good. Okay, right. Well, that's good to know, because when it said at the end of the film, obviously that Oakland never won, but then combined with the fact that then the Red Sox won 2 years later, obviously using Moneyball. But the Red Sox are rich as, and the film makes that clear. So it's like, so I guess my thinking coming out of the film was, is the combination to success the adoption, or for other teams to be able to beat the Yankees at that time, was like, okay, Moneyball's definitely part of it, but then you also still just need money.
Probably does help. Yeah. Especially when it did, like like you're saying, like when they started valuing players correctly, like when it did become a bidding war again, like yeah, for sure, I guess.
Yeah. That was kind of that was an interesting thing to me about the end.
See, Billy Beane still at the club.
Like, is he still today?
Yeah, he's not general manager. He's like moved up in position where he's like very high, as a kind of like a, I don't know. I can't remember what the exact role is, but like it's like very much more business side rather than player side.
Oh, would it be like, I don't know, like director or vice president or some shit like that? I don't know.
Not quite, but similar probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's cool. Actually, I should have looked that up, to be honest.
The family side of the story was, I don't know, it's like typical of a sports film. You always need like a family side, because that's where the heart is mostly. But it felt like such a weird note to leave off on, of his, like, if I won 2 World Series, if I lost 2 World Series back to back, and then I popped in a CD and my daughter's singing to a cute tune, "You're such a loser," I would kill myself right then and there. I'd flip the car over. I mean, like does that just not fucking break you mentally? Like, come on, like you fucking win you lose 2 World Series, and then she's calling you a fucking loser. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah, she really did. That's actually the thing about the ending, is that I saw some things of like taking this movie as like a typical sports story where like, they overcome the odds and they win. And it's like, I don't really see the movie that way, to be honest. Like, I understand that's sort of the progression of where they're on, for that's sort of the track they're on, I suppose, for most of the movie. That's not how it ends, though. You know what I mean? They get the win streak, and that's about it. And Billy even admits he doesn't really give a shit about that. And then, so like, I feel like for the whole emotional end of the movie is kind of a bummer, So, I mean, I'm basically non-ironically completely agreeing with you.
But like, he's that, but it's not, because his goal was to revolutionize baseball, and he did. He wanted to change the sport, and he did. That's a win.
100%. But like, he can't really. He struggles to. His whole thing is that he struggles to recognize that or take any pleasure in that. You know what I mean? So no, but
if he's still at the club today, he must have recognized something there.
Surely, hopefully.
Yeah.
I feel like the film, though, like, because obviously that's what Jonah Hill tries to show him with, the dude who, he shows him the little clip of the guy who doesn't realize he's hit a home run, and that's obviously the whole point of that scene. They literally say it is. It's a metaphor. But that was still cool. So like, obviously, like, he's trying to be shown that, but I'm never get the feeling in the film that he accepts that. I don't think it's not like a rounded out arc in that way, where like in the end, Billy finally we see him come to just take pleasure in what he's done, and he lives happily and he's proud. You know what I mean? It's like he's told that should be what happens, but then we never see him get to that point where he can do that. So it's kind of he's more.
I feel like the last scene is him getting to that though. Like,
do you think so?
Yeah, he's already broken by the fact that he lost and he's like not accepting it. But then by the end, by that last scene, he's fully embracing it. You know.
Really? Okay. In terms of the scene when he's driving the car.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't kill himself when his daughter called him a loser shows that he's okay with it.
He's such a loser. Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe he killed himself, right? Because to be fair, it's already the screen's already black by the point.
Yeah.
That she starts saying that in the song. So, but yeah, okay. I don't know. I don't really see that. I sort of saw I understand that's the main lesson that he should learn in terms of appreciating the victories, but I don't know. I didn't get that sense at the end. I got the sense at the end it was more sort of like it was more about his daughter, and that he sort of essentially gave up his dream of winning a World Series to stay with her, is kind of how I saw it, which is sort of a bittersweet thing, I suppose. Overall, a good family, life choice, arguably, but like, I sort of saw it more in that way, as opposed to like, yeah, sorry.
Giving up is the kind of happy ending, though. Giving up trying to win like constantly is kind of
the fact he stayed at all.
Is supposed to go.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that does make sense. But like, was he? I don't know. I just didn't get the sense that he was like totally happy with his decision. Like it was still a struggle, kind of thing. He's still conflicted about it. I feel like the full rounded out arc would be at the end. He's like, he's happy with his decision to stay, and he's sort of given up on that side of himself, kind of thing. But it's sort of a bit more open ended than that.
Yeah, but why do you have to give up on one side of yourself to be happy? Why can't you keep both?
Whoa. Oh no, I don't think you do. But I guess I'm just saying, like, in the actual, in what I took from the performance and that final scene, it wasn't like a total sense of relief or success.
Sure.
Is that? But are you saying that's what you got from it, Fitzy?
Yeah, more or less. Like,
okay, yeah.
If he would have taken that deal, it's like not only would he be taking not only would he be making a decision that's based off money, but he'd be trying to win. He'd be trying to win all over again. And it's not like he's not going to try and win with Oakland, but I think he's realized that he's already taken his big shots over and over again, and moving to the other side of the country would be just pushing his relationship with his daughter kind of further apart, and just pushing the competitiveness too far, I guess, after he's already done so much and had so much failure, and has kind of had his success. Because I feel like the character is really haunted by his failure, the fact that he couldn't make it as an athlete, and so that's why he's such an intense guy, because every piece of success he gets is kind of gets him further away from that failure. As he says, he doesn't. It's not that he likes winning so much; he just hates to lose. So I think in the end, he's realizing that he didn't lose. He did make a difference. I guess he did do something.
Okay.
Yeah.
See that? Yeah. Okay. I like that. That's definitely a more positive sort of take on it than I had, which was more in the realm of, he chose to, I guess, accept his eternal professional suffering in order to be with his daughter, kind of thing. That's sort of how I read it on the other side of the coin. But I like your take better. It makes me happier, to be honest. Yeah, the film wasn't trying to convey that that was a real song, right? That she was singing.
I think so.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought like it was trying to say that she wrote the song or something, and I was like, I guess no, that just confused me for a second. Because I think the song came out after, like, this is meant to be in 2002, and I read it's a 2008 song.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I think that was just they didn't give a shit about that. They just wanted to use the song, which is fair. Yeah. That's fine. I get that.
They wanted to call him a loser at the end. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, could you imagine being Billy Beane in real life, watching this, and then just getting called a loser at the fucking end?
Exactly. Oh, man. Stiff.
Well, Billy Beane loves the ending, apparently.
Oh, really?
He's rewatched it. Yeah. It's like his favorite
part. Oh, really? Oh, wow. I saw he liked the movie. I didn't see that part. That's awesome. But yeah, anyway, sorry, actually, I did just want to, about this final scene that we're talking about. Like, I did it stand out to you, Jayden, as something good? Because I just asked that because, like, for me, I don't know why, but it was actually oddly, like, there's nothing, like, totally mesmerizing about it necessarily, but it was, like, the visual that stuck with me the most about the film. Like, even, like, I remember that really well coming into this watch, and I had forgotten so much of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm so thrown off by the fucking end of the song that, like, it genuinely caught me sort of guard, and I was like, what the fuck going on here? So it's hard for me to see the scene any other way other than just weird.
It did change the tone, like right at the last minute. Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, what a sweet moment, of connection with the family.
Yeah.
Breaking down the barriers. And it's like, oh no, she fucking hates you,
She hates you.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the scene but the thing that makes the scene really strong is that we've already mentioned a little bit, but Brad Pitt's just so good in this movie, and just really, I don't know. For me, I guess the standout aspect of the performance was just how well he captures the anxiety and like you already mentioned, Fitzy, like that failure that he carries everywhere from his youth. That I think is conveyed really well in those flashback sequences. And they come in. I really like how they sort of are spread in the edit. Like it always feels like it comes at just the right time, and they're very quick, but they feel like they're just coming in like, they come very naturally in his own reflection, sort of in the present. They sort of feel organic in that way to me, but and then just the way, particularly, I mean, throughout the whole thing, and we obviously see his frustration. He breaks a lot of stuff in this movie, obviously, but for me, it was like more so the anxiety and like the fact that he can barely watch the games, which I assume is a real thing. Like, but the way he performs that though, in terms of like having to quickly unmute the TV and like just get little glimpses and then go off, and then while he's working out or while he's driving around in circles in the car, and just all that stuff, you just feel this pent up sort of emotion and adrenaline that sort of comes with the whole thing. And I really felt that sort of nervous tension throughout it. So that was probably my standout aspect of his performance, but overall I think he's really good once again.
What is his standard accent? Like, what's Brad Pitt's standard accent?
This? Don't you think so?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't like. I don't think I've really heard him speak too much in an interview.
Oh yeah. So, no, this is just what he sounds like.
That's what he sounds like. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you comparing this to though? Because I feel like he uses this in. I know he uses accents in other movies, but like,
he uses it quite a bit. Yeah. And that's just what I was trying to think. Because like when I was hearing this, I was like, okay, this sounds a bit like Cliff. It sounds a bit like Inglourious Basterds. It sounds a bit like So I was like, is this like his regular thing, or is this just because his character is once again going to be from one of these southern states?
Oh, were you impressed by his performance, Jen? I just feel like I didn't want to like assume.
No more than usual, I guess.
Okay, you take him for granted. Is that what you're saying?
Probably. I mean,
he's like one of the biggest movies. Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I think it's hard to talk about stand-up performance in this film because I mean, it really is as much as Philip is credited on the poster as a co-star, it really is just a Jonah and Brad Pitt show. I think Chris Pratt was the one that surprised me. I just didn't expect him to show up in this film. And then I kind of bought his arc, or not his arc, but his I think he's sold that struggling player story really well. In his
he did.
in his unsureness of himself or whatever,
Yeah. What's the thing you fear the most? Yeah, baseball coming in my general direction. That was good. Yeah. No, it was interesting. He was in the film. At the time, like he lost all his weight for this movie. Was the thing. Like specifically for this role, like he wanted it, and then that's how that one came about. And then he got absolutely jacked for Guardians later, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I always just knew he was in the movie before.
I mean, you've seen it before.
I saw it. No, before I watched it. Yeah. But then obviously, Jonah. Yeah, you said Jonah Hill. He's like the other main part of it. First of all, are you like nostalgic? I am a little bit. I don't know if I can say this, but I'm like a little bit nostalgic for like Fat Jonah Hill. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've really seen him in anything modern. Like I know you watched that You People film or whatever, but I don't think I've really seen him since he's lost the weight. So I can't really be nostalgic for it because this is just Jonah Hill to me.
This is just Jonah Hill, yeah. But no, you'll see him in something soon, and you'll be like, "Oh, I miss Fat Jonah Hill."
I don't know. Well, he's getting kind of cancelled.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's not the greatest to his girlfriend or something like that.
Oh, okay. Damn.
And I don't know if he has Pitt's star power to pull through a scandal.
Yeah. Could Pitt pull through a scandal?
He has. He is. Yeah.
Has he? What? What's he done?
Yeah. Apparently, he's abused Angelina Jolie.
Oh yeah, you know.
What the fuck?
Oh man.
Oh man. Anyway, so Jonah Hill, Fat Jonah Hill, yeah. So no, he's great because I don't know. I thought he was great in this movie, and like I compare it to his more comedic performances and like Wolf of Wall Street. Like Wolf of Wall Street's sort of the main one because it was not far after this, and that's sort of its own beast. And I'm not saying I dislike him in the Wolf of Wall Street. Like that's obviously an entertaining performance, but I don't know. I'm just much more partial to this performance and this style that he delivers here. Just a lot more. I don't know. I mean, it fits perfectly with the movie, surprisingly, of just how believable he is. Like everyone's so believable in this movie, and you sort of think, oh, Jonah Hill, can he be believable as this sort of baseball strategic, stats computer guy who's kind of nervous, but then when he comes through in all these sort of confident moments, like when he has to fire the dude and the way he does that, like it's all pretty. And he's obviously with his endless conversations with Brad Pitt, it sort of is their show, like you said. I don't know. I found his performance very believable and probably his best I've seen, to be honest.
Oh, don't know about that one.
What's it in competition with? Bloody what's that? Superbad?
Yeah, Superbad's pretty strong. But if you want like a performance like this, I think he's great in War Dogs. I think he's hilarious and like very strong in War Dogs.
Yeah.
His character's got a fantastic laugh in that. Just look forward to that.
Is it? But isn't that more of an over the top performance?
Yeah, it's closer to Wolf of Wall Street character, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he does that very well too, for sure. Yeah. I guess I just appreciated this one for what it was as well. But yeah, I don't know. I just
on that scene where he's firing players, that's another thing I can believe about the sport, that like there's no consent from the players to get traded away. They just get told, oh yeah, pack your bags, you're moving halfway across the fucking country. Like that is insane. I don't know if that still happens to this day. I can't imagine it would. But that is insane practice to just drop someone on the day of play and say, oh yeah, nah, sorry bud, you're moving away. Like that's unbelievable.
And Pete had very valid concerns about what about his family in their school or whatever.
I know, yeah.
And the solution was just to ignore it.
That's crazy.
Oh my god, yeah. Those scenes were like sort of the examples of, I mean, sort of, I guess lesser examples because we haven't talked about like the trading yet, but like the actual trading. But those were examples of scenes that were just very interesting to me, very engaging. Like firing people. I enjoy that. So.
Your little Filipino sweatshop like this.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, in terms of like then when Pitt had to do it as well, like when he did it as a show in front of Seymour Hoffman, that was really strong. I really liked that. Speaking of Seymour Hoffman, he's Liam's favorite actor, so Liam's got to talk about him, of course. But I feel like I will just say on the character quickly that I feel like there's another version of this movie from Art's perspective that's like totally different, and Billy's like the biggest villain ever, trying to destroy his career, trying to take away the integrity of baseball, You know what I mean? I just say that to say that I sort of like I understand his point of view. I didn't really feel like he was a. It was like the bloody what was him the recruitment coach guy. Like those guys were kind of like, oh yeah, those are old farts, whatever. You know, stick it to them.
Well,
But
yeah,
I sort of understood art a bit more. Yeah.
well, I don't understand how you can put together a team and not let the coach in on how you're putting together the team to work. You know, like
Oh, 100%. That too.
like
Yeah.
that is just fundamentally wrong. Like, of course, your strategy's not going to work if the coach doesn't understand what you're trying to do because you're not showing him what you're doing. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you can't just say trust. You know, it's like show him the stats a little bit at least. You know, give him like he was right. He had to be involved in that process for it to actually work at the start. Until he had no other choice. You know, obviously, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. Because right away in that first scene with him, I was immediately surprised that he didn't go into the recruitment meeting. You know what I mean? Like he just understood. Like they went in the room and he walked away, and that he just that's just not the numb thing. But I'm like, why
that's standard. I think most things where managers, coaches, whatever, they put in their recommendations of who they want, but it's up to the staff at the end of the day, and especially people paying for it.
They don't sit in though. You know what I mean? There's like so many old farts in that room, but like Philip Seymour Hoffman couldn't be there.
He probably could if he really wanted to, but like I don't know.
Yeah, he was kind of a bit mad at that point, I guess. Wanted a better contract. Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. But no, I thought Art was a solid character because he's sort of obviously represents the opposing force and the opposite. And I think it's a really good balance between like when the media is talking about like putting it all to the media, it's all about art, which I thought was an interesting choice. And that's probably often what it's actually like. Upon reflection, in terms of like media covering sports, like giving either too much credit or too much blame to the coach at times. So that was an interesting little wrinkle to it, and that's exactly what was happening in this movie. But then he's obviously represents an opposing force to the philosophy that Billy Beane's trying to bring about here. But in that, I understood his perspective, and he obviously had a camaraderie with the players that Billy didn't have until he came around on that. That was sort of an aspect to his arc as well. So, yeah, I don't know. Like there were parts of Art that I liked and found relatable, but he was obviously still sort of a villain, if you will, in the film. But I thought his perspective was still valid and interesting, and that's what made the character interesting to me.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He was pretty good. I like his bold. I like his look in the film.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I don't know how much he actually understood about what Billy was trying to do. Because like he does say that part of his like decision making process is the fact that he wants to prepare for like job interviews next year, and like to say that he played the most obvious player that you would usually play, instead of using whatever Billy's like new random kind of system suggests. So I think that was like the main reason it made sense for him. But in the end, I think his thing was almost like a faith kind of. In the end, his thing was almost about faith and the fact that he had to just trust Billy, which is interesting because the film's like so heavily based on statistics and like science and that kind of idea. But like for him, it's like the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. He sort of has to just go with the intuition part that Billy's sort of going against. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think the main way Billy changes in the movie, I guess, outside of we already discussed the ending, but the other main aspect, the way he changes is the fact that he like starts mingling with the players and starts talking with them and developing a relationship with all them. That's definitely part of the arc there. And I thought, I just liked how that was a key part in making the whole thing successful. And so it wasn't just like, there were almost two elements to it. It wasn't just like, they needed to overcome management and get Art to play how they wanted to, and then that made them successful. It's like, sure, that was part of it, and like you mentioned, Fitzy, like Art sort of had to have some faith. Art was also his hand was sort of forced when like his best players were cut as well, but that was part of it. But then the other part of it was like, okay, but it still probably wouldn't have worked if they hadn't actually started bonding with the players better and like built the team cohesion as a unit, which they made an effort to do. They made the conscious effort to do that. And I sort of wonder, like, even if they'd gotten their way with Art in terms of like who to play and when, it might still not have been successful if not for that decision as well. So I sort of liked how it took. It was like the combination of they needed to overcome the odds of the philosophy, but then also they needed some genuine like personal development as well to get it done.
Mm. Well, they had to have like faith in the system because it's like they had no good players after those 3 guys like Giambi and stuff got,
Yeah.
Got transferred or traded. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're also showing that like the players themselves didn't understand like their value to the system. Like that's the other thing. Like that's why they had to mingle because like the players thought that they were being brought to be the best they can, but he wasn't looking for their best. He was looking for, what you can do already. So like that was more important. I guess like the mingling did occur from that, but it did start after that. But yeah.
No, exactly.
Like yeah, I know. It's an interesting fact that like not even the players realized their value.
No, and but why would they in this system that's been like this for so long? But yeah, no, absolutely. Was there any other standout people in this movie? I thought there were a few recognizable faces and stuff popping up.
Oh, fucking Robin Wright and Spike Jones turning up as the ex, as the husband, or the boyfriend.
Oh, I didn't recognize that guy.
Oh yeah, as Spike Jones did like her and the Wilder. Where the Wild. What was that movie?
He's a director.
Yeah,
director. Yeah.
Oh, you directed her. I'm sorry. I get you. Right, I didn't know what he looked like. Yeah, that's cool.
The other Spike. That's a director. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, it's not Jones. It's spelled weird, right? It's like G-O-N-Z or something.
Yeah, Z-E, yeah.
Z. Yeah. I'm sorry. I do know that name. Yeah. Right, I didn't recognize. Jayden, did you recognize that? Do you realize that Bobby Kotick was the goddamn owner of the team?
Who?
He's the CEO of Activision.
Oh, really? Oh, well.
This is the weirdest thing because I'm like, I know this guy for sure, but then it was I was kind of like, but in the same way of like, oh, I assume he's just an actor I vaguely recognize from something.
Right.
But it was that guy. That's so weird. I don't know how that came about.
Bro, he's used to controversies and scandals then.
Oh, 100%. No doubt about that. Yeah. Well, I guess they thought, oh, he can. I mean, yeah,
this is pre all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I also don't know how realistically he could play like a sort of poorer CEO guy. You know what I mean? I mean, still CEO, so whatever.
It's crazy to hear that like 38 million isn't like a big enough budget to build a team. Like that's.
Well, yeah, when you're up against the Yankees.
Yeah, but I feel like even in like there are squads in nearly every other sport in the world that do pretty well on what I would consider an equivalent kind of budget.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I mean like you look at the Premier League, I guess. I mean, probably not so much there, or but like soccer in general. But like, there are teams consistently every year that kind of do shine. Then it rarely do they win, but that's why Leicester's 2015-16 season so impressive because they did win on that shit budget.
Really?
Yeah. So like, it's I don't know. I feel like him like Brad Pitt trying to sell it as like poor me. I mean, like it's kind of everywhere. I guess it is kind of poor him, but still,
poor me.
It's like poor me, 38 million. Like 38 million is a very fucking decent, chunk.
I mean, I think he recognised that because at the start of the movie they came second, right?
Yeah,
like with the budget and without Moneyball. Yeah. So it's more like I think he was more just like he knew that was his ceiling without making a change.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I think he understood he could still continue to have that success if he wanted to, but he wanted to win.
Well, he had the exact same result the second year, so.
Yeah, and he still hasn't won, so hey.
But I was having a look at I think that technically they have won something because like there's when they go to their playoff series, there's this thing called a pennant title where like you're the best of the division of like the AL or the NL. So I think they have won that, but they haven't won the World Series.
Why on God's green earth are they called the National League and the American League?
I don't know, man.
That's the most dumbass naming I've ever heard in my life. Oh man. Yeah, cool. We sort of haven't talked about. I do need to appreciate like some of my favorite scenes in the movie. Like of course the whole the sequence where the trade deadline sequence where it's just Jonah Hill and Brad Pitt in a room for 5 minutes was like the most entertained I was the whole movie because it was great. the calls back and forth, just like the rapid nature of like how they're changing people's lives, like on the spot, like you already mentioned in terms of like you can't believe that these people can just be traded without their consent, but it's like 100%. But then how quickly they can be traded, and how quickly that their fates can be switched around in these rooms. You know what I mean? It'd be kind of scary to watch if you were actually at one of these names being talked about, I guess. But I was very entertained by this scene, and then. Well, like any time he has to barter with like another GM, you know what I mean? Like when he goes to visit, I think he goes to visit Cleveland at the start. I think, that's where he meets Pete. Yeah.
I think people often say there's no like luck in success because they try so hard, but like you see that in all walks of field, in all walks of life. Like you see it in sport, you see it in fucking YouTube, you see it in careers in acting and all that stuff. But like everyone's like, oh no, there was no luck. I worked so hard. I did this edition, this edition. But like, there's so much fucking luck involved. And like, this movie shows how lucky they were that, Billy chose to go to Cleveland, and that guy happened to be in that meeting, and he happened to take notice of his one word in that one meeting, and he happened to decide, oh yeah, let me track him down, and then he responded to him in like, it's so lucky, that sequence of events. And like, anyone that says luck isn't involved in success, and that just tries to like tout it as hard work. Like, yes, your hard work gets you to a certain position, but like, no matter how hard you are, like the luck needs to like push you over the edge. Like I think like the like luck and chance is just such a big like part of everything, but people just never want to acknowledge it.
Is that true? Because I 100% agree with you, but do people not acknowledge this?
I think nearly every top player in the world would tell you, oh no, it's because I worked my ass off. And like, yes, you did work your ass off, but also you're very fucking lucky everything went right. You're very lucky you didn't break your leg, the day the scouts came. You're lucky that your draft number got picked in number 3 instead of number 1 because you ended up going to a 17th position team instead of an 18th, so you were in a better system, so then you did prosper. Like there's so much luck involved everywhere that you can never like, I don't know, it annoys me when they tout it as hard work only. Like, yes, I get it, but come on, man.
Yeah, I think it's imparting the right lesson, because like hard work is the sort of the necessary criteria involved, I guess.
Sure.
But I guess I understand like the message in that sense. But no, you're totally right. Like I don't know, I've always been a believer in like the idea that I'm totally stealing this, like people have this, but it's like, the idea that success or opportunity is hard work meeting luck. It's hard work plus luck. So it's like luck is your hard work is the foundation that you need to even have a shot. It's like your prerequisite, and then you need like you need the luck then to get you there. You need a little dose, that little whatever it is. So in that sense, like if you didn't do the hard work, I mean, I guess some people do get lucky without like much hard work, I guess. But like the more hard work you do, the more chances it's going to give you, kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Yeah, that was a very wide philosophical topic there, Jayden. That was good.
Yeah, well, it's just that they don't really touch on. I just think like it's an important story, like an important thread, and like they never really acknowledge luck. I mean, to be fair, I don't really expect it in like an underdog story to acknowledge like, oh, how lucky we are to get to the fair enough. Like still,
yeah, that's right. I don't know. Maybe it's just sort of assumed.
Maybe
because like at the end of the day, like if Pitt didn't do all, like he does deserve a lot of credit.
Oh yeah,
everything he did, 100%. So like but yeah, no, there was definitely luck for sure. A sequence that I was also very entertained by in this movie that took me back to a conversation we had about a week ago, Jayden, was these interview sequences with the players before the games. I thought this was well timed with our conversation because it was hilarious. I know, I just found it very funny, like the whole like least confident, again, AI answers from these players, but like with zero confidence. Chris Pratt not being able to not stumble. He's like listening to me on this podcast. And then you got the goddamn interviewee, like, the interviewer, like, getting in his face, getting it, like, being all confrontational and shit. That was a fun sequence, and it felt very relevant. So
I think the worst case of that was like, the Cadell Evans road race I do around here. Like
Yeah.
when they do that and like they interview the guy that came first, like, you know, not even a minute after he hops off his bike, and he's just fucking puffing hard, man. He can't get a word out, and they just got cameras in his face. It's like, you know, it's like,
Dude, that guy, and of all sports too, like, can you imagine how puffed he must be, like, having ridden his bike for that long?
yeah, like in 4
That's crazy.
hours, you know, however
Exactly.
many Ks they do.
Exactly. Like, I make fun of it enough, like, after a footy game or after, like, a horse race, but, like, they've only been at it for, like, you know, or footy game in bursts, and then in a horse race, like, for, like, a few minutes or whatever at most.
Yeah.
And then this guy's been, like, riding his ass off up hills and shit for hours, and 10 seconds later, yeah, that's terrible. Oh, man. The media is easy to make fun of. I love it.
Mm.
And, well, that is, I mean, we sort of mentioned it a bit earlier, but I did also really like in this movie, like, the way the media is used and the way it sort of portrays, like, sort of the pundits, if you will, or like the, you know, like the people in the baseball world that, like, come in over the radio snippets and that kind of thing, and how they sort of just stack the odds against them. It really, there's a couple sequences like it in the film where they just get these montage sequences of, like, Billy driving in circles, and then you got the radio people saying that he's shit, that it's never going to work. And then in those times, it really does feel like Billy and Pete against the world, you know.
Mm.
And I thought those were effective.
Well, I feel like commentators sometimes they have the same kind of philosophy that those older guys in the Oaklands have, where they just kind of, you know, speak in circles and, you know,
Exactly.
talk bullshit. It's frustrating.
Oh yeah, 100%. Dude, yeah, I love making fun of, like I don't want to call out any shows or people specifically, but it's like, you know, flick on Fox Footy and then see how long before that, you know, you can just easily make fun of, like, the stuff they talk about. You know what I mean? Talk about overanalyzing, talking in circles. Exactly.
Oh, maybe I can't say it now. No, maybe I could. It's not bad. But it's just someone else's skit. And I was like, yeah, it's like it was someone else's skit where it's like Fox Footy commentators whenever an Aboriginal player touches the ball, and like the commentators like, oh, there's a bit of something about him. There's a bit of magic in him, and you know. And like you just know it's true every time. And then the player does pick up the ball. You know, they touch like, oh, there's a bit of magic in him. You know, every time. And that's like kind of what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's a very specific example. Yes, yeah. That's funny. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. They all, I don't know. There's like a.
They love talking about their private schools as well. They're like, oh yeah, look at this bloke came up through the St. James system. You know.
Yeah, they've all sort of, I mean, it's probably the case for all sports, but like footy is one of most, like, they all have their specific sort of go-tos, you know what I mean? Those specific, like, topics that are just like they all bring up over and over again. It's just sort of funny. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, we know, because, like, our school's probably referenced a lot on those things. I don't know enough.
I honestly don't feel like I do hear it mentioned.
Wouldn't we be? I mean, based on our gym, I think so.
I think it would be, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard our school directly mentioned, though, the way that I've heard another one talked about.
We had a first-round draft pick.
I mean,
sorry, a number one draft pick.
Yeah.
So it's like, wouldn't they mention that? Sure.
I don't know.
Wally shot this movie.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Mr. Fister there.
Yeah, shout out. It was a good-looking movie. I liked it.
Yeah, I think some of my favorite shots are kind of like just the shots of an empty stadium are always like pretty nice, and then like especially like the low light ones, you know. I don't know, very stunning to look at.
I love.
But then like how cramped like he makes like the hallways feel in like this massive stadium, you know. It was very, very effective in the shooting those.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. I liked seeing the. I mean, it was probably 50% because of the location and 50% because of how it was shot. But like, I like seeing the Red Sox stadium. Like that felt like a big deal when you got there, you know.
I've been there in Fallout 4.
Oh yes, good point. Exactly. I didn't even think of that. I didn't make that connection, but yeah. I'm just trying to look at my trivia. I think did I cover it all? Yeah, no, I did cover it all. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, I didn't. Sorry. This is actually my first one. Billy Beane is portrayed as a lonely divorcee. In real life, he had remarried. Scenes were shot with Catherine Morris as his second wife, Tara, but they didn't make the final cut, though you can see them on the Blu-ray. Brad Pitt's character still wears a wedding ring throughout the movie. So,
I thought
recontextualize the
that
whole
was
movie.
I thought that was one of those rings they give to players for winning a championship. I didn't even think it was a winning ring.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I can. Yeah, but he was a loser as a player, Jayden. So
Yeah, but like it said 90. When was the Oakland's last win? Like 90 something. So I thought maybe he was like already a GM at that point, or like he was a manager at that point, and maybe they gave him a
oh
ring
yeah,
or something
maybe.
like that. You know.
Yeah. No, he was just he was a salesman.
Uh,
So
Loser.
loser. Yeah.
Yeah.
Recontextualize the whole movie, and he's actually married. So
Okay.
I mean, I sort of understand why it was cut. I feel like it might. I don't know. I feel like it has a little bit less impact knowing that he's actually a little bit happier. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised, with how effectively they cut around it to the point where there's no indication at all. You know.
Yeah, other than the ring, there's really no sense of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple scenes, very brief moments of him at home, and he kind of looks like he's sad.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, drinking alone. Yeah.
The home does look lived in,
Yeah.
so
True.
there's a feminine presence with the plates on the wall. You know, it's like, oh yeah, he's not putting that shit up.
Yeah, true. Okay, Andy wrote in his review for Moneyball. He said, statistically speaking, only sport and statistics can go hand in hand from script to screen when typed up by Sorkin. Decent film that made me appreciate statistics because my numbers don't lie. And I'm starting to feel it's right. All the attraction, the tension. Don't you see, baby? This is perfection. Is that a lyric? Something?
Yeah. Shakira. Hips
Oh,
don't lie.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liam. Thank you for that. 8 out of 10. Thank you, Andy. Apologies. Liam's here to help me with your musical reference. Baseball, man. It's crazy. Okay.
It's how can you not be romantic about baseball?
Yeah, nice one. Nice. All right, let's get to our final verdicts for Moneyball, Jayden.
This is an 8 for me. I mean, this is a very typical 8 movie. You're never going to make a movie like this and not get an 8 out of me, I think, I don't...
You're not appreciating the hard work that went into making this movie, Jayden.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe the luck. Yeah.
How lucky they are that Sorkin rewrote it. Or didn't rewrite it.
You said it was really good anyway. So, I don't know.
Exactly. They're lucky he didn't rewrite it.
True. I don't know. Yeah, this is a strong 8 from me. I really like this movie. I recommend everyone check it out for sure. Fitzy.
Yeah, I'll also give it an 8. Pretty quintessential 8, as Jayden said. So.
Quintessential 8. Yeah. Exactly.
Don't you love when we're all in agreement?
When what?
When we're all in agreement.
Oh, agreement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
At least something about green.
Yeah, same.
We can get into the news chat. Jayden, you watched the clips from the Venom, The Last Dance trailer. What did you think?
I think the only thing I saw really was the fucking horse, but it seems like you watched the whole movie, right? The whole trailer.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. Yeah.
Why aren't you fucking speaking about it?
Oh, I thought you wanted to talk about the Venom horse because I want to talk about the Venom horse.
I mean, Venom horse is sick, and it's what these movies are about,
This trailer was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't like Venom movies. The first two, I feel like this one actually gets it. I know. I get. Maybe you can make the argument that the first two are self-aware and that they're a bit fun and they're a bit goofy. I just never got that sense from them. I feel like I just never got that enjoying it sort of ironically part of those movies. I just thought they were taking themselves too seriously and they were lame. But this one with the goddamn Venom horse, I'm like, oh yeah, this is dumb as dog shit. This is good. You know what I mean? I feel like, and overall, I felt this trailer was really leaning into that side of it much more than the previous two, in my opinion. And the fact that it's that, and then it seems it's like an actual on the run movie. So Eddie's I don't know, it seems like he's traveling the country. That sounds interesting as opposed to what were the previous two movies about? I don't know, weird lab shit in San Francisco. It was kind of whatever, I can't remember. Whereas this one, I feel like it's going to be more of a journey maybe. So that could be interesting.
Well, they end Let There Be Carnage on an island, right? Don't they? Or they have to escape from something, right?
Yeah, but then remember after that he went to the MCU, so.
Did he?
I don't know how that's going to work.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, but then I think he went back. I think he went there and then went back, right?
Yeah,
he left the symbiote in the MCU.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, at the end of No Way Home. Yeah, he did.
In No Way Home. What?
Yeah.
Oh,
This was a post-credit scene in No Way Home. He was in it, Tom Hardy.
was he?
Oh, that was okay. I thought that was from
Yeah.
Venom.
Oh, well.
No. At the end of No Way Home, the post-credit scene, Tom Hardy's there. I can't remember. I'm definitely going to get some aspect of this wrong, but he's there in a pub. I know the scene. He's there in a pub, and he leaves the symbiote in the MCU for sure.
Oh.
That's 100%. But I don't remember if he's still in the MCU or if he went back or if how he got to the that part. I'm a bit hazy.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Anyway, but I don't think that's going to do with this, to be honest with you. But So yeah, and there was there was a line where I don't know, there was a moment at the start of the trailer where he and Venom were like saying we are he was trying to say we are Venom in a dramatic way, and then Venom was trying to ruin it, and it was actually kind of funny. So I'm like, okay, can these play? Maybe I'll actually like this movie the most. Who knows?
Who's directing this one?
Oh shoot, was it Catherine something? She wrote the first two, but she's now written and directed this one. And Tom Hardy co-wrote it with her. So I don't know, I'll just put it this way. This one actually kind of looks watchable to me from this first trailer. So see how that ends up going. But I was entertained, to be honest with you. And if we get a whole goddamn... Liam, have you seen this Venom horse?
No.
You've got to see it. It's the most insane, dumb shit I've seen in my life, but it's, hilarious. So, I'm all about it. Let's get to our highlights of the week. Fitzy. You are called upon.
Yeah, I watched The Swimmer, which is a 68-ish film. Burt Lancaster. He's at a friend's house, 10, 15 kilometers from his house, and he has this idea that he'll swim back to his house through the pools that are in a straight line to his house, kind of, it's some river or something.
That feels like something I would dream about.
Yeah. Well, the film's kind of is a bit like that. It's a bit dreamlike. Because the idea is kind of absurd, and it's mainly just walking, or he calls it something else, foraging or something. But yeah, he goes to these houses, and at first it's kind of normal. He goes to the first house, and it's kind of, he's greeted by old kind of friends or younger people, but people he knows, and then as he goes to each house to swim in their pools, they get kind of increasingly more hostile, and certain facts are revealed about him, or the people speak to him in different ways and act as if there's something different about his life that we don't know. And so the film just kind of gets progressively weirder as it goes along, and you kind of the character becomes less solid, but it also feels like time is moving forward rapidly in some weird way. It's a very strange film. It's it feels very allegorical and kind of not surreal, but just kind of unreal-ish. So yeah, I'd recommend it. It's it's a really weird mix of elements as well, because you have this really weird story, but you have this kind of operatic main theme that's kind of abused over and over again. So it is just a very dreamlike film. Yeah, but it was very good. Brad Lancaster was very good in it.
So this is not a quintessential 8, but an 8 nonetheless.
No, it's not an obvious 8, because it could go either way. It's too experimental to be a quintessential 8, I think.
Is it in black and white for Zach, or?
No, it's color. It's very colorful. Yeah.
Is it
it's
on
not,
Stan?
It's not on anything that I rented it. Yeah, unfortunately. Put it on your watch list though. 10 years time, it'll maybe be something.
I'll check it out. Yeah. That goes on the IMDb watch list. That one. Okay. So unfortunately, I've been giving shit highlights for the past 3 weeks because I've been watching some TV shows, and I finished 2 of them in the same week. So now I have to choose. I I feel like, Fitzy, have you seen all of Yellow Jackets?
Only the first season.
Okay. I think this will be... So I finished Yellow Jackets and Shogun, but you guys haven't seen Shogun, right? So I feel like Yellow Jackets will be more interesting. For this reason. You like the first season, don't you? And
Yeah.
is there a reason you haven't gone around to the second?
Is it on something? It's on. I feel like Yellow Jacket is kind of like split
You have to
between
pay
the
for
services
Paramount
or
Plus,
something.
don't you?
It's a Paramount Plus show, but I think the first season was put on Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
first
first
season's on
season.
Netflix. Yeah,
Which is by the way, that's really weird. But I guess it's their method of like I assume they want people to watch it and like it, and they get Paramount Plus. It's kind of odd.
maybe they just don't care about Australia, and we just kind of got
Yeah,
shafted.
not a very big market.
Right. They're thinking, oh, we'll put it on Paramount Plus and like just get the license fees from Netflix as well. Why not? They're not that fussed about it.
Yeah,
That's weird. That's weird. Oh yeah. Anyway, so season 1 I really enjoyed, and season 2 was lame. Basically, is my take on Yellow Jackets. It's so I don't know. It was funny watching this after we'd done the Society of the Snow for a variety of reasons. First of all, it's sort of the whole show is meant to be sort of loosely based on that event of the soccer team crashing, and it's like, and they even acknowledge it in the show. I don't know if I can't remember if they did that in season 1 or not, Liam. But at some point, it might have been in season 2. They definitely straight up acknowledged like the Andes crash. Yeah. So it was like, oh yeah, you guys crashed just like that team in the Andes or something. So that's basically what the whole thing is. And I don't know, season 1 was just a much more cohesive feeling season to me. It just felt... I felt like, so you've got the two parallel storylines, which is the most interesting thing about the show. You've got you have the characters while they're out there in the wilderness as teenagers, and then you've got 25 years later when they're adults. And you sort of... the interesting part of the show is like, okay, you start off with like 3 of them as adults, and then you slowly as you go, you get introduced to more of them as adults. So you don't know who exactly is around as an adult, who survives, who dies, kind of thing. So they kind of leave a fair bit of that ambiguous as you go, and then you sort of learn. But so that's the whole parallel storyline element to it is the most compelling and interesting part of the show, and the most unique thing it does. And in season 1, it just works quite well. I enjoyed like thinking about, okay, well, who's going to be around? Who can they still meet as an adult? All that kind of thing. And I think they teased a lot of that stuff really well. And just the way they cut back and forth between the two timelines was done a lot more interestingly to me. It felt more thematically cohesive. Season 2 just sort of totally lost me. They made some odd choices, and I don't know, the way they go back and forth. Much more than season 1. Season 2, because obviously you have every character, well, for every character that makes it to be an adult, there's an adult actor and a teenage actor for all of them. And I just felt like season 2, I was watching the teenage scenes, and I was watching the adult scenes, and basically, with a few exceptions, a lot of the actors playing the same character just didn't feel like the same character anymore. Like it just like totally felt off. Where I felt like I was just totally watching different people, even though they were meant to be older and younger versions of each other. And that wasn't helped by the fact that it felt like the storylines didn't work well together. Characters, I feel like you want to structure your whole show to where like you understand like relationships between them as adults in season 2 is then like completely on a different universe to their relationship as it is in season 1. And you think, oh, okay, well, that's part of the intention, like, oh, they obviously understand they develop more in the 25 years since, or they develop more when we're going to see more of that as their kids. But it's just such a start. It's just not done well, in my opinion. It's sort of hard to explain. I feel like Vince would need to see season 2 to see it, but it's just like where you would normally cut back and forth and show interesting contrast between the adult version and the younger version, and this character feels this way about them as a teenager, but then that's clearly changed as an adult. I wonder why that's changed. Season 1 raises these questions in an interesting way, and season 2 just feels like there was basically 2 different shows written by 2 different people and then crammed together and smashed together, in my opinion. So that's how I feel about it. I'm unfortunately not very interested in where this is going to go now. I just feel like it's lost all its intrigue for me, and also just like the pacing of like how long they've still got to be. So they've said that they were out in the wilderness for a year and a half overall, and now at the end of season 2, you can loosely figure out they've probably been out there for like 7 months, 8 months at most. So it's like, okay, is this show going to go for another 3 seasons at this point? So yeah. Anyway, I spoke way too long, but I hope I haven't put you off. Maybe I don't know if you were going to watch season 2 anyway.
No, I was pretty like not put off anyway, but it would have taken me a while to get to it anyway, just because it's like on Paramount Plus and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Have you heard anything about had you heard anything negative about season 2? I hadn't heard anything at all. This was just my raw take.
No, not really. I mean, I was excited to see like the trailer for it because the girl from like 6 Feet Under was in it. She plays like the new like redhead adult character.
Oh yeah.
Was she like one of the discrepancies between like the teenage version and the adult version?
No, she wasn't too bad. No, Natalie totally goes off the rails for me.
Is she blonde?
She's blonde as a teen,
right? Yeah.
But you know you know what I mean. The psycho one, basically. Yeah. A lot of them go off the rails. Like Melanie Linsky goes off the rails for me. Like I liked her performance, but it just feels so not the same character as the younger version by the end of it that it's just like it's just hard for me to really connect to it. You know, like it's funny how like the discrepancy in the portrayal of the character changes like the way I view them. Because at the start of the show, I was kind of like, they look similar. Yeah, I buy that. And then by the end, even though obviously they're the same people, I'm like, these don't even look similar. These two actors don't even look similar to me anymore, just because they felt so different by that point. And it was sort of like I just sort of started disconnecting totally for me. But yes. Anyway, Jayden, what have you been watching?
I've been watching quite a bit actually, but I think like I finished The Bear, but you guys have talked about The Bear a fair bit, so like.
Oh, I do want to hear your take. If you want to, you can do it as a bonus.
Maybe later, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I don't know, but what else? I'm like, I'll save Three Body Problem till I finish it, I guess. I would love to talk about Doctor Who because otherwise I'll forget about my points by the time I actually finish it. But still haven't finished that show. I'd love to talk about The Acolyte, but have you watched The Acolyte actually? By the way.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We got a lot of after show stuff to talk about then.
Yeah. I think I'll talk about Doctor Who because like I want to get out of the way now in case I don't get it in later because I want to talk about something else. This show completely lost me after the first episode. I hated it. I was borderline ready to drop Doctor Who forever. It was offensively bad. It was terrible. The Christmas special was really bad, but I was fine. I was like, okay, Christmas specials are usually not that, depending on the Doctor, they're not the greatest. I was like, I can get that past. The first episode of the season was just horrible and childish and dog shit, and people, fans are trying to defend it as R2D was being, he was being ironic and poking fun at the fans, because it's space babies and we get cold babies, so he's being ironic.
Is that the showrunner they brought back?
Yeah, Russell T Davies. Yeah. Okay. He's just stuck in 2005. Is what it felt like at that point. It felt like an immature version of a 2005 story in that, and it was just terrible. And then episode 2 just did nothing. It was some of the worst things I've ever seen. But then thank God for episode 3 because it rescued the show so much because. One of the main things is that it gave Ncuti an actual role as a doctor, and it gave him a chance to actually play his character in a confident way, where he wasn't sidelined to a main character, and he wasn't scared. He was scared, but he wasn't as scared as he was shown to be previously, and it actually gave him a chance to breathe, and it saved the show so much. And I cannot stress that Boom was the best thing that could happen at that time because. Otherwise, the show just would have been on a constant decline, man. It was scary how close it got to being like the worst things I've ever seen. But then Boom rescued the show, and Ncuti did really well in that episode. And the story was very simple. He was stuck in one place on a landmine, and just with that premise, it gave him all the power. And it was a great way for him to come into the role as the Doctor. 73 yards, the follow up was really strong as well. But once again, he was sidelined. it feels so awkward to be sidelining the Doctor so frequently at the start of his run. You know, there's been plenty of times in the past where, you know, the companion or just randoms take charge of the story, but it's been after the Doctor's been established. But in this season, you have a good 2-3 episodes where like he's just not present very much at all, which feels really weird. But like the episodes are getting stronger. Well, they peaked with 73 yards, which was the 4th episode, kind of. The 5th episode was pretty strong too. It was really weird at the start, and I thought it was going to go. It was a return to shit quality, but then it starts picking up, and you start understanding. And then by the time it wraps up in the end, you're like, wow, that was kind of fantastic actually. But once again, you hardly see Ncuti as the Doctor, and it just doesn't feel right. And also his relationship with the companion doesn't feel right because there's a lot of off-screen traveling, so there's a lot of assumed relationship that just isn't coming across well. So there's fundamentals wrong there, but then also, yeah, those first 2 stories were horrible, but then the next 3 really saved it. I haven't seen the 6th one, which just dropped like, you know, fucking a couple of hours ago. So I guess I'll get to that and see how it's traveling. But like, this show was fucking so close to being so terrible, and I don't understand why they chose to start the season with space babies. There's no way you can think, oh, I'll be ironic and point fun, and think that was okay to put out when it wasn't anywhere near good enough to be, you know, oh, I get it, it's ironic. You know, it was just overall horrible.
And it's your first episode with your new Doctor, and
yeah, I don't love the way he's playing the Doctor entirely when we do get to see him. But then, like, he has but like I said, you know, he's had a few chances, mainly in Boom and at the end of episode 5, where you can really see that he is the Doctor there, whereas the rest of it kind of just feels like a sex education character. But yeah, like there's issues, there's major issues, but it seems like we're on the upturn. So overall, like, I would honestly, if you're a Doctor Who fan, I would encourage you to just skip the first 2 episodes, because it'll do nothing but make you hate the show. But then seeing Boom, seeing 73 yards, seeing Dot and Bubble, it will make you be like, okay, this is fine. This is normal Doctor Who, you know? Yeah.
How many episodes are there going to be? Because now I know it's all, you know, Disney Plus and all that kind of
stuff. It's only an 8-episode season, which is ridiculous. Disgusting.
Yeah, right.
You cannot do an 8-episode season of Doctor Who.
Right.
Like, when they did Flux, that was a special because it was COVID, and, like, you know, it was like the end of Jodie's era. That's why it was only 6. Like, but you cannot do an 8-episode season of Doctor Who. It's just not long enough. It's just not long enough to establish, you know, your overarching thing, or, you know, your development between the companion and the Doctor. It's just not enough time to get stories in, you know? And if the sacrifice is quality, I'm happy to make that sacrifice, because Doctor Who is not meant to be a polished show, you know? The cinematography isn't meant to look amazing. The effects aren't meant to look, you know, brilliant. You know, it's like, I want a bit of schlockiness, and if that's what it takes to get 13 episodes back, I want that, you know? So yeah, 8 episodes is criminal.
I'm a bit grossed out by, like, I'm not hugely attached, as you know, but I'm a bit grossed out by the 8 number, because the 8 episodes, like,
that's for, you know, event series.
And it's like the quintessential streaming number. You know what I mean? It's like HBO's 10, and it's like, oh yeah, that sounds good. 6 is like intentionally miniseries level kind of, and 8's kind of like this gross, like, all Netflix shows are 8. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's and obviously that's fine for a lot of shows, but I just mean, like, for Doctor Who to go to that, it feels a bit like. Yeah, I agree. It feels a bit weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It feels good to get that out, you know.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad. Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is a good movie about a sport that you don't care for? Dr. Luke said Invictus. It's a good one. Good shout. Wait, do we actually like Invictus here? Because I know it's like, I know when it's a school film, it's a bit like, people sort of turn against it a little bit.
Yeah, it's not the worst film. I think when I started, I gave it an 8. It might be down to a 7 now after having rewatched it, like, you know, fucking 5 times.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. I think I want a 7. Yeah, I like Invictus.
But Liam, you didn't do Invictus.
No, I haven't seen Invictus. Yeah.
Oh, you've never seen Invictus? Holy shit! No. I was like, oh, I can't believe I didn't realize this till right now.
Focus.
Oh my god. You got to
I
watch
don't
it just for that.
He was too
Yeah.
smart to do Invictus.
Invictus was for us dummies because we were like, apartheid. Yes, that's yes.
Oh, yeah. I can
Deep.
see themes of separation.
Yeah. the fence between the white people.
Yes.
Oh wow. Nick says it's not a movie but a TV show. Ted Lasso. Soccer sucks. Sorry, Andy. Nick should be apologising to you as well, considering you're on the show.
Nah, it's fine.
Jayden doesn't care. No, I appreciate Nick answering that. I did say movie, but that's a valid answer, of course. Andy said, follow up to Dr. Luke's Clint Eastwood choice. He's choosing $1 Million Baby. I'll add that boxing used to be a sport until those YouTube Sidemen idiots ruined it. Jayden probably has something to do with that. I'm not sure. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. See, I feel like in these answers, I'm more learning about. I mean, some interesting like film and TV choices, but I feel like I'm more learning about what sports people don't like here.
Mm.
Okay. I didn't know Andy didn't like boxing. It's interesting. I don't know. Jayden, you hate a lot of sports, so I feel like you have more choice. See, I was like looking at the sports movies, but I'm like, oh yeah, I don't mind. Oh, that's an alright sport. That's fine.
Yeah, look, I love sport, but there's also like there's a share of sports I don't like at all. Namely NBA and NFL.
I feel like NBA, you both actually have some wide variety of choices.
Yeah, like it's hard. It was like I was thinking I should probably pick a basketball movie because that's like my most hated one. But then I was like, what's a good basketball movie? Like if I can like Mike, fucking.
Hustle with Adam Sandler's good.
I'm not watching that. I'm not fucking watching it.
Yeah.
I was like, Basketball Diaries can only get so far as well,
Right.
It's like there's no good basketball movies. I mean, there is like Mike's okay. I will say that, but it's not like in terms of what I want to say. I don't care for MMA, boxing, all that stuff. So I will say Warrior is like up there because that's fantastic. Warrior's a fantastic movie, but I just don't care for boxing. But in terms of a sport that I actually don't like and a movie that I do like is Friday Night Lights. Hate American football, just such a boring sport. But Friday Night Lights is a fantastic film.
Nice. I'm sure Fitzy appreciates that answer.
Yeah,
he hasn't seen the film, has he?
Yeah, I've seen like 10 minutes of it. I was kind of like,
okay.
I'll get back to it.
You could have said the same about the show, I guess, if Nick's breaking the rule. I don't know. Do you hate American football as well? Or?
Me? No.
Or did you grow to love it?
Oh well, I'm not really interested in any sports these days. It's kind of sad, but I don't know. Like even tennis is like, I'm only like partially interested in it. I won't really watch anything that's not like Australian Open, So I really could be any sports film.
I find tennis pretty boring, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like most people like it. Like, I feel like of most sports, it's probably the most widely liked, at least in my opinion, sort of from people I talk to and stuff, and family and stuff. But I don't know. I don't really like it, to be honest.
Tennis is very mid tier to me.
I can say that.
I was going to talk about another sport, but I forgot. No, my actual answer. Well, I'll give a shout out in terms of good basketball films. I'll give a shout out to Hoop Dreams. Mainly because Jayden was talking earlier about like luck in sports and success and that kind of thing. And if you want to watch a great film that's about luck in sports, Hoop Dreams is that film. Specifically, just like how like financial circumstances and like injuries, like just the most random injuries, like totally derail a career, and that kind of thing. It's really kind of heartbreaking, like to watch. One of like basically both the stories in that film, but one of the stories in that film was kind of like that. But yeah, shout out to Hoop Dreams. But Pumping Iron is a great another great documentary about Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou. What what's the Hulk's name? Lou Ferrigno?
Oh, Ferrigno, yeah.
Yeah, Ferrigno. It's a really interesting film. It's like, if you want to understand the Schwarzenegger mentality, just watch Pumping Iron, because it's like you see his indomitable will in that film. It's really fucking cool.
Wait, is the sport technically
Bodybuilding?
Weightlifting? Bodybuilding is the sport.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's about physique as well.
Yeah.
Not just lifting. Okay. It's about the poses and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know who watches like bodybuilding like things these days as like a sport, but
it's on the gym TV, so
there you go. But it used to be really big, at least when Schwarzenegger was around. So
do they have that on your gym TV?
Oh yeah, there's everything. There's anime, there's weather, there's cooking, there's bodybuilding, there's
interesting.
There's fucking changes, yeah.
Yeah, it has usually like music videos or like parkour. It's actually oddly one.
We had one that was showing Mortal Kombat 1 story.
What? Yeah. Did someone like put that up though? Like,
I don't know, but I was sitting there. I was sitting there. I looked across. I was like, oh fuck! I was like, because I saw a stream playing like the night before. I was like, I know this. I saw this cutscene the night before. I was like, this is Mortal Kombat 1. I was like, oh just fuck.
Are you gonna look up next time and just give me like The Last of Us Part 2 full movie?
Yeah.
Like what? It's so weird. Oh god. I mean, mine's sticking with baseball. Oh, this is so weird. I found this on Google today. Do you guys know this movie called Everyone's Hero? This animated movie, this baseball movie. Never heard of this? So. This is okay. This is obvious. I don't know if anyone's seen it. This is obviously must be one then where it's like I had it as a DVD as a kid or something, and I watched it like 5 times because it's the most like crappy looking like straight to DVD animated movie I've ever seen. But I don't know. I've seen it like 5 times. And I'm like, oh yeah, I enjoyed that movie as a kid. So. But I didn't know. I thought maybe other people had heard of it. Maybe someone listening's heard of it. I don't know. But
that's a 2016 film. What are you talking about, kid?
It's not a 2016 film.
No. I was trying to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think you're trying to call me out, but I'm just trying to be funny. What's that movie about the bobsled team? I couldn't find it.
Oh, Cool Runnings.
Oh, Cool Runnings. Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, I don't hate the movie, so I guess maybe that. But
can you say you don't like bobsledding? Like pretty cool.
Yeah, that shit's terrible.
Nah, man, it's fucking sick. You see the speed they're doing that shit?
Yeah, but it's just totally insane though. Like it's insane. It's insane to a point. Like, dude, you're getting in this little like contraption thing, and just like fucking going down an ice hill. And it's like, I'm not saying there's no skill involved, obviously, but it's just like so much of that is just like hand to like just giving yourself up to the universe. I'm just like, take me wherever, and hopefully you don't send me straight into a wall. You know what I mean? And it's just like that is like, again, I'm not saying there's no skill, but it's just like that is like way too much, just out of your hands, weird wackery of just like I don't know. That's like, isn't that like? I was gonna. Isn't it like I don't know, getting in any? I'm trying to think of
like soapbox racing, like the.
Yeah, what's that? Yeah. I was gonna say something like that.
Yeah, where you take a kid and shove him in a little box with wheels and you just push him down the hill.
Oh, bobsleigh. What's it called? No, it's
soapbox racing. Yeah. Something like that, isn't it called? Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, exactly. It's like that, but it's like. But it's a respected sport. It's like what?
I mean, it's the Winter Olympics. It's not really respected.
Yeah, true. Yeah. That's the other part of it. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm not a fan of that, to be honest with you. It's so dangerous. And I'm not against. Again, I'm not like just against dangerous sports because they're dangerous. Like it's so dangerous, but with like no real like but if you're so talented at it. Then you're able to like, that's the balance or whatever. It's just like, no, you're just like, it's just dangerous because it's dangerous. It's a stupid thing to do, But yeah, I wish the question was the opposite. It was a bad movie about a sport you care for because then I'd answer the Iron Claw. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I would. Well, is it a sport? That's another thing.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad you agree. Debate over.
Hmm.
Nice. Okay. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and/or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is: who is the best character who goes undercover? It feels like a weird way to say that now that I said it out loud, but it's, I don't know. Do they go undercover? Then they count. So let us know. Okay. We have a poll.
Oh no.
Yeah, get into it now. Catch him off guard. Let him pick the first movie that he sees.
Yep. So
I did
give Liam.
Oh,
you did? Okay.
But
cool,
it's a shit film. It's not going to win.
Well, we'll see.
Well, it's a good film. But
you've said that before. We have, of course, Instagram poll nominees to announce. It's Liam and I going head to head. We each must choose a film, and then you guys vote on it on Instagram, and we'll be reviewing that movie in a fortnight's time. Okay. I'll start, and I might have nominated this before, but I think it would have been 2+ years ago, so I don't care. I'm nominating Wind River.
not really a winning film.
I know, and I really thought about it, but I'm just like, fuck it, I just want to watch Wind River. And none of us have seen it, so I thought it'd be a good one, so fuck it. It's been on my watch list forever. Taylor Sheridan film. Fitzy.
Yeah. No, okay, I'll stick to it. My pick is Eden. Which is, if you search Eden on Letterboxd, there's 3 films that comes up. But it's 2014 Eden. It's about French DJs. Well, it's about one guy. It's about his whole life. He the character never ages. Like they don't have like makeup or anything, or they don't like replace the actor. But it's about a good deal of his life as just a DJ.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of inspired by Daft Punk and that kind of scene, electronic scene. So I've seen it twice, but I want to watch it again. So yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Fitzy, they're pitching you to vote for Eden.
Yeah.
A film he's seen twice.
It's an interesting film. Wind River is it's a boring choice. I mean, it's already been nominated. It's probably white savior shit anyway. So let's stay away from Wind River, guys. Come on.
Wind River has Elizabeth Olsen, no? Or is that the wrong one? Yeah.
And old mate Jeremy as well. So yeah, okay. The audience will decide. Those are your 2 options. So go to our Instagram page and check our stories sometime within 24 hours after this episode goes live. Cast your vote. Yeah. And if you're worried about missing out on voting in polls in the future, follow us on Instagram, by the way. You'll be fine. Okay. That's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Fitzy, what are we doing next week?
We're doing Hitman. We're doing another Richard Linklater film on the show.
A bit of a different one.
Yeah, not as slice of life, not as indie. Well, indie, but
what do you mean? The character's literally based on me.
Yeah. But yeah, it's on Netflix. It's about a college professor / part-time cop / Wikipedia's vague about who he actually is, so maybe that's part of the film's thing. But yeah, he goes undercover.
If he doesn't even go undercover, well, what if he doesn't even do that?
Yeah, well, one of the descriptions says he's like a professional killer who develops conscience for one of his targets. So even that's contradicting all the other things. So, yeah.
So maybe it's 3 different films that were uploaded randomly to Netflix to each person's account, and maybe you get a different film depending on the person you are.
Wow,
it's like a Rorschach test. Yeah,
that's cool. Excellent. All right, check it out on Netflix, and that's it. Appreciate everyone tuning in. I appreciate Liam and Jayden for joining me as always. Have a great rest of your week, and goodbye.